Hi guys, welcome to Sovereign Empress Disclosure. So we disclose things as much as we can. You know what's really interesting is that people don't realize they sell out in their life a million different ways. You sell out by being quiet. If you know something isn't true, and just sitting back, being quiet, not saying anything is the same as doing something. But that it's like that crowd mentality that takes over. I was listening to this one guy and really appreciate his channel until they start referring to other people, and then all it does for me is like, okay, that guy really believes that we have a thing called the election and voting and all that's real. When you talk like that on YouTube, you're going to be elevated because you're carrying the narrative, and you're always going to be rewarded in this system by things that don't convey what's really going on. I have to be very careful when I talk on here, how I choose my words. This video I uploaded to my other platform 6 days ago, and I just wanted to put it here and talk over it because it goes along with a download that I received, and that came by way of listening to probably one of only a handful of people that I actually respect in what the so-called truth community. And they have been, removed like myself. You can't talk candidly. You can't tell the truth. See, by conforming to that and following their guidelines, well, it's almost like you have to, or you can say nothing. But think about that when you're trying to cater your words and craft everything in such a way that you can still tell people what you know without it being penalized. Well, they'll still give us freedom of speech in some cases, but no freedom of reach. And you'll have freedom of reach when you kind of, in my opinion, and I'm sorry if this offends, but it's kind of meant to be, when you're kind of like a Bart Simpson, I don't care what color you are, but when you talk about the things that this narrative puts out, and you think you're a genius, and you can even like maybe call yourself as such. Be like me calling myself a sovereign empress of disclosure, but yet I'm none of those things really. But in my mind, I think I am. I think I'm a genius. I think I'm sovereign, and I don't live a sovereign life. I really do live a sovereign life. And it's amazing when you are really awake. And I know there's some people on YouTube that are. And it's almost like you don't even want to hear anyone talk about it anymore, because you hear someone talk about this selection like it's real. And they never talk about like any of the stuff we've talked about for 4 or 5 years. They don't have any understanding of anything, like really anything. The crux of all of this is the mark of the beast. And this is what this video is about. BRICS met the week of the 22nd in Russia, and we're never told the truth here. I don't know if you know that yet, but everything that's put out on the media here that is propped up and given a lot of elevation by way of, see, now it's very easy for them to promote anything, because most people believe an avatar with a screen name is a person. They'll give you 4, 6, 8, 10 grand a month if you carry the narrative. And you think you're just so amazing because you're getting all these, what you seem to think are people that follow you, but they're not even people. You're literally doing Satan's work, and unbeknownst to you, because most of these people are so dumb, like especially the ones that take the liberty of calling themselves genius. I mean, they're just idiots. And every day they're talking about this election. But this could be, I don't think so though, because some of these people are such, I mean, they're just really kind of dirt, give me a banjo, that kind of thing. And that's kind of the poster child for America. That's why the whole world looks at us as like we're just idiots. And we are, for the most part. And to honestly believe, like I was shown, I did a video 2.5 years ago now, and I said that there will be no 2024 election. And I guess I'm telling you this because I'm just kind of leading up to it. The one person I really respect, and we were both paying a lot of attention to what was going on in 2020, and I'll just leave it at that. In-depth study of the patents and what goes into the little glass containers, and then it subsequently inoculates both humans and pets. With looking at that extremely close, and called it all just as it is. And it's so diabolical and it's so beyond most people's imagination that they just can't accept it, I guess. But again, they don't let any of this truth out there. And then it's not just the media. I talk to people in person to person all the time, and they're just completely brainwashed. I mean, they're just literally the walking dead. This is what the Bible was talking about when he said that the blind lead the blind here, and we're supposed to let the blind lead us. And when we stand out and go, wait a minute, no, I see something else, and I'm not going to follow these blind people, we're accosted, we're reprimanded, we're ostracized from society, and we're not elevated in the internet is really took the place of town square. And that's why if somebody really wanted to get into it and actually look into all their laws, statutes, and codes and do something to sue them, which you really can't because it's not a level playing field, they decide what you can sue on and what you can take to court. That's why you've seen nobody do any lawsuits with regard to the topic in 2020. Because when Trump gave the keys of the country to FEMA to run, which we're still under that mandate at this point in time, I did a video on it and showed the executive order that he signed that put America under martial law. And for the longest time, we've been running under continuity of government because there is no government. It was bankrupt and went out of business, the United States of America Incorporated, which is just a dead corpse. Corporation is dead. And it went out of business in 1999, hence the song We're Gonna Party Like It's 1999. And ever since then, everything's been running on continuity of government. It just kind of runs by itself and the belief that people have in it. And then everything you see on the television and the internet and the media is just designed to be there to keep you focused on everything, to keep, I guess, I constantly try to figure this out, like how is it that people can't see what's going on yet? I know there's another race of beings here. I know they're very much simpletons, in fact, in the fact that they only operate from the five senses. Like I know that, like come to understand that over the last 5 years, that when the Messiah was talking to the Pharisees, he said that you have no truth in you. And what that means, if you read the Bible, if you've studied it at all, the Holy Spirit reveals all truth. And the only thing that returns to the Father after your body dies is the Holy Spirit. So if you don't have the Holy Spirit, you have no truth. So anybody that can't understand the truth in this realm is another being. They're of another walk of life. They try to explain that to us in the book of Genesis. But they make these stories into like la fairy tales, and to the point where, and then they put all these institutions and agencies in place to brainwash us even further. like you really step back from it all and look at why you believe what you believe, you'll have to say, for the most part, it's because the people that went before you believed it. And then we just keep repeating, and that is, I guess, what they say is insanity, when you keep doing the same thing over and over but expect different results. And I don't think there's anything that epitomizes that more than looking at the elections in the United States of America ever since I've been born, or I was old enough to kind of understand what they were talking about. And it's the same every 4 years. It's the same. But anyway, I got this this download that I did a video on a couple years. I said this will just be the impetus to the Civil War, and the insane worship of a mere mortal that Trump has cultivated is just beyond, like, what anyone, and even after what he initiated and carried through in 2020 till now, the endless hypocrisy, the endless, lock her up and then congratulating her the day he gets the election. I mean, it's unreal. And then delivering the bioweapon. Again, see, when the ones that have survived that have this, a lot of it is, it's time released. And it can be activated at different times with different people. This is why it's all based on zip code. I don't even know if I can say that here. It's just a giant science project. But the thing about the money is everything. And that's what I was talking about in this video. Because the dollar is being dissolved. And the dollar has been the currency that has been utilized throughout the world. And now that that's being dissolved, this removes America, the United States of America, from being the leader. And this ushers in the New World Order. And the world order has always been here because this is Satan's world. He controls the world, and the earth is the Creator's footstool. See, he gave us free will. And this is why, it's unfortunate, because there's just a few of us that see all this, and then we're subjugated and we're held down with the boot on our neck because of all these compliers, all the ones that go along with it, that believe the lies and carry them forward. They do more to harm us than even the leaders, because they couldn't do it without the order followers. They couldn't do it without the ones that are telling you, vote for Kamala, vote for Trump, that this is real. That's why they get all kinds of fake subs on their channel, and it doesn't matter to them if they're fake. Honestly, be honest with yourself. If you have over 10,000 subscribers, you don't know if those are real people, nor do you care. You just care about how much you get paid, right? You're just looking at the analytics at the bottom line. It doesn't matter to you if they're real. And this is what you're going to find out when you hear these words that are going to you're really going to hear them. Depart from me, I never knew you. There's no way that you can talk like this about this world system as if it's good or remotely real at this point in time and have the Holy Spirit, because you can't see what's going on. You have no idea. So with this video, I just wanted to put something here as well, because in Exodus in 10, it's talking about the 3 days of darkness. I don't know if you were paying attention over the last 4 years. There have been so many nut jobs, religious nut jobs, that have been saying the 3 days are dark all through 2020, 2021, 22. They're calling the 3 days of darkness. Bold up, put up your windows, put curtains up, put up all this stuff, and it never came, because it's not talking about that. 3 days of darkness. Now, this is not what the person I pay attention to talked about. All he said was that he knows that they're going to take 3 days to crash the system here, which I've been talking about with the debt clock, because most people have no idea what the debt clock means. The only reason there's a debt clock is because we have money that has no value. It doesn't matter what you buy or how you get paid your salary. Every single thing here has been done on an IOU. Money has intrinsically no value. However, it's attached. It has a UCC filing bond attachment to your blood, to your body. This is what was represented by the Messiah, giving his blood. And then he came to set the captives free. But they want you to believe that the money's backed by dinosaur oil or petro or something, and that's just simply not the case. It's backed by up until this point, it's been backed by our birth certificates and gold, and then it's all run through the Vatican. And this all takes place in the background. And now the time is up, and the piper needs to be paid. And this is why they started the culling in 2020, because we are worth, because it's backed by our blood and the insurance policies that are placed on us at our birth with our birth certificate. When we die, then of natural causes, and this is why they need your consent. This is why a mandate, you can still contest a mandate. A mandate is not a law. This is why everything that Satan does in this realm, he has to have your consent to do it. That's why they want your signature. They want the prodigal son signature with a signature ring on everything. This is what gives them the ability to do whatever they do to you. You always have to consent. You always have a choice. And so we're essentially worth more dead than alive. And whenever someone is taken out, then the debt clock drops off for that amount of money. So again, that's why they started it. But what's going to happen next is that with the dollar dissolved, and now there's, again, if you don't understand the straw man, and these are a lot of things that very few people do understand, that your name's all in all capital letters. This was created for you when you were born. And this is like whenever you sign a check, if you've ever signed a check on your bank account, if you look in very small print, it says representative of. You are only the representative of your straw man account. And this is what Wizard of Oz was talking about. There's a book, The Wizard of Oz, too, that gets into it more. Jekyll Island. You know, you need to understand these things if you want to understand the money. It's all about the money. It's all about the mark of the beast. And so what happens now with the advent of BRICS, which even though America hasn't told us, it's a technology that they've been participating in for decades. And they've been meeting since 2009. They just tell you that America is not part of it, and yet they are. They're just waiting to crash the system, because you're going to be the last to know in America, because everything has been held up by the dollar. And once this goes down, everything needs to crash, and it's going to take 3 days. So when he was talking about that, I immediately went to 3 days. It was like the Holy Spirit showed me 3 days is going to be in the book of Exodus. It's going to be, this is not what he said. He didn't say that. This is I'm the only person I've heard say this, and I want to note that here again, as I did 6 days ago. So the grid will go down for 3 days, and this is going to be equivalent to the 3 days of darkness. And this is what the majority of people that have no idea what's going on, they don't know that the lights are going to come back on after 3 days. But there's going to be mayhem that ensues. And the blue hats are going to be, well, they're already on the ready anyway. We have tons of FEMA camps that are open everywhere, tons of American prisons that have been set up over the last 4 years. And these are internment camps that are all designed to house Americans. And this will take the money to a total digital place, because now they couldn't do it until they were able to, again, let me use an analogy. When you take a fruit and then you do science on it to remove seeds from coming up in the next crop, you make a new seed essentially. Now you can patent that seed. Once you take it from its God-given makeup and make it into something else that performs differently, and it's not the way God created it, now man can patent it. And this is, again, all stated in Supreme Court documents that, in fact, they've already announced, which I've tried to show in other videos, that once you do this to a citizen, you can no longer claim to be a human being. You're in a different category now. It's called transhuman. And that's why trans is such a big part. All these things are really diversions from what's really going on. So now that there's no longer, what this does, because they can patent the individual now, where before they couldn't until they altered it, they had to have the straw man that's set aside from it, the duality, the W, if you will. This is what that's talking about, the W, that we'd see the W like in McDonald's, upside down W. You know, everything is upside down, hence the money changers table, the Messiah tipping the chain. You have to tip the table upside down in order to see things properly here. So this is all I was talking about in this video. And so what I feel very strongly about, I believe there's going to be something around this selection, because my first knowing 2.5 years ago that came to me was shown that it's the impetus of the Civil War, and there will be nothing will come of it. But again, they can go in a million different directions. They're always taking our temperature, because this is all run by AI. This is all artificial intelligence. Satan is totally artificial. He's anti-human. And so it can change at any moment. And it really is dependent on the 144,000, the ones that actually walk with the Holy Spirit, is really going to be determined by what they are thinking and pushing forward in their minds and hearts. So this would, to accomplish that, this timing, and along with BRICS. So BRICS is the technology that backs this. I try not to get too complicated with it, because a lot of people don't care, for one, and for two, don't really understand how huge this is. So on the 5th, if they pull the, push the button, pull the grid down, what it does is it accomplishes a couple of things. People won't be able to vote. So there's your no election, which I was shown 2.5 years ago. And then there's no satisfaction of knowing who would have won, even though it doesn't exist and there's no such thing as voting. But to these people, they really believe in all this stuff still. A lot of them are under total mind control, and which a lot of us were even before we woke up to some extent. Because if you participate in this system, you have to be brainwashed. You have to be mind controlled. And then this is what I was talking about ad nauseum. This is what got me involved in talking about things. 4 years ago? I started on YouTube, and then I had to go to an alternative platform because they kept removing my channels and my videos. But now some of these stuff we can leave up because it's so far gone. But this patent 060606 is the cryptocurrency body activity data system. And I just it's so beyond, this is Frankenstein. This is showing the number 145, which, think about that number, 45, is connected wirelessly to the system. And I talk about how it works and everything. So this is what they've been working on for the past 5 years, and even before that, because they never tell us what are in those little glass vials that they've been putting in people that are free, right? Everywhere you go. Why is something free? There's no such thing as free. So now that they have the individual patented, they no longer have to have a straw man. They don't have to have this other ledger set up, this other set of books to compensate for money that doesn't exist. That's all based on, see, this cancels out the debt too, of the debt clock. This is why they wanted to get this stuff in you. That's the motivation. And it was monetarial too. Huge benefits from the CARES Act, $50 billion, ready to go. Extensive. I looked through it. I read a lot of it. And it just shows where all the money was funneled to get this stuff into people. They had the tests being shipped, as I showed you in my videos. in 2017. So it's just remarkable to be here as somebody that sees it all and just go, how long is this going to go on for? Like, how long? How are you supposed to function in this when you see it, when you're totally awake to it? I see a lot of people struggle, like myself. You really struggle because it's like you have to wear a mask just to try to function here, because you say anything to these zombies and they just go off because they're programmed to. They're not, when I meet them, they have certain characteristics. They're not human. They're just not. But the ones you even think are kind of human that still push all this stuff along, it's just unbelievable. The ones that get the most views on YouTube, most subscribers, or anybody that doesn't buck the system, doesn't talk about anything that has to do with anything. And they just, and meanwhile, the whole thing is just, we're just being taken out. We've been taken out from within. This started back with, even before, but it really picked up steam with in the 80s with Reagan, and then when George Bush Sr. came in, and he was running the director of the CIA before he became the vice president and then the president. So, and Reagan was in 56 movies in Hollywood before he played the part of president. Trump has a star on Hollywood Boulevard, endless credits from Hollywood in movies and sitcoms and so on and so forth. This is counting none of their appearances on news channels. This is just entertainment purposes only. And nobody thinks that's odd. And that's who they want. Make America great again. Why would a black person want to make it? Where are you going to go back to? When was America great? First of all, we're all slaves here. Every single one of us, and you don't know that. You don't know you're a slave. So anyway, for me, I believe this would be perfect timing. They need 3 days to reset the system, and it would seem like it would accomplish everything they need. It would implement total chaos, and then they can do the Hegelian dialect, which is problem, reaction, solution. This is how they always do it, and so that's all they need. On the 5th of November. Remember, the 5th of November, they initiate this all, the Civil War, the no election, all by crashing the grid on the 5th. And then bring it back up on the 8th. The dollar will be gone. BRICS will be announced to the people now, even though it's been in the background the whole time. And now you won't be able to do anything unless you have their medicine, because you're biomedically connected. Even if you go to any of your apps now, they want your fingerprint, right? Just like I talked about a year ago, 2 years ago. Your eyeball or your thumbprint, some kind of biology. It's more invasive, more invasive, more invasive. Because they own the vessel that houses your spirit. And they're more interested in people with the Holy Spirit than the rest of them. You can be assured of that. They do soul swapping. They have all the technology to do this stuff. It's unreal when you start to figure it out and see what they're doing here. This in and of itself, this thing here, should be enough for people to go, what's up with this place? But I don't know. I guess I think it's a compliment if someone says that you're another race of beings. Because if you're actually a real person that has an opportunity to have a connection to God, the Holy Spirit, and you still go along with all this, you truly will hear the words, "Depart from me, I never knew you," because you've made it so hard for the rest of us. Literally, you've killed us. You've killed us. We've lost our jobs, we've lost our homes, we've lost everything because we stood up to this and you did nothing, and you still carry it forward. You should be ashamed of yourself. This is where they can get into forcing this stuff, and you have no privacy whatsoever. This goes far beyond them just being able to track your purchases. This is invasive on a different level. You have no idea what they're putting inside of you to alter your brain, the way you think, what you do. You're completely robotic at that point. You know, just on a quick aside, I think that's all I wanted to say, but when you go online and you see these advertisements, you literally have an AI person telling you how easy it is to take any content and turn it into an AI cartoon or movie or book, and it's talking to you from AI. And I'm sure there's other people that see this. You have all these videos now that take videos that some of us have done over the years, and they feed it into the system and then just uses closed caption and some pictures, and it's just an AI voice, not even a human, using our content and making huge money on it. You know, 100,000 views, and you're just like, why? Why does this get 100,000 views and it's not even done by a person? One of two things: they enjoy listening to robots more than humans, or it's all fake, just designed to continue to promote the robot talking. But if you've been changed into a robot, perhaps you enjoy listening to that kind of robotic voice. I can tell it's a robot voice immediately, within 2 seconds, and I turn it off. I will not let a robot talk to me. Whether they show their face or not, I can tell. So, yeah, this is the time that we're living in, and yeah, I don't really know what that's going to mean for the people that are, you know, haven't done all of their medical procedures. But it's certainly going to make it almost next to impossible to engage in any of their systems if you're not down with that. Okay, I think that's all for now. Yeah, so I think it's going to happen, I mean, any day now. But I think it's probably more likely after, because then they can do problem, reaction, solution, right? Order out of chaos, all the chaos that's going to ensue. And then they can implement, put the boot down, and really move forward with the rest of their plan. Because even when I was talking to you guys, remember when we were looking at Leland Jones' graphs about prophecy and where we'd be? It was going to be, it's like this last 7 years of plenty, 7 years of famine. We're in the 7 years of famine, and then it was ending in 2025. And 2025 is when they showed the vast reduction in the populace. It's not to scare you, it is what it is. This is the time we're living in. And I have no fear at all. I don't know why, but I just don't. Because it's going to get worse before it gets better. And a lot of the you know, I was watching a meme, or looking at a meme that said, do you think they can get Americans to kill Americans? And I'm thinking, where have you been? They've been doing that since 2020. They're still doing it. Anyway, that's all. Have a good day, you guys. Yeah, just pay attention, I guess, which many of you that come to my channel are, you know what's up. But I think we're in for something, which we've always thought. Like I've always thought, you know, 2 years ago, that this selection is there will not be one, is what I've always thought. First of all, it doesn't exist anyway, so there really can't be one. And but whatever they tell their clown followers is really what's going to, you know, determine what they do next, how they respond. And then they respond, they jump in. So whatever, I think they're just toying with us, cat and mouse. I'm sure they're having a lot of fun with it, AI is. and these controllers, like which way they want to go. I'm sure they have it all, you know, all the different scenarios played out. What happens if they say Kamala's it? What happens if they say the felon's it? You know, it can't get any crazier. At this point, a Lifetime movie episode seems more normal than anything in real life. or a New York Housewives or something like that. All right. Have a good day, you guys. Oh, I'm going to put 2 clips here that you might find interesting.
You had fun. On the plane right now, on our way to Vegas. It's called What Happens in Vegas Stays in Vegas. I'm here with my new best friend right here. My new best friend. Hello. Rusty Rocket. Is this for Twitter? Yeah, yes, also known as Russell Brand, yes. Very, 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 very dear friend of mine. We go way back. We've got a lot of history from the projects, of course. Yeah. Back in the day. Very rough in those days, a lot of bother in the projects, but we've come through it now. Things seem to be working out. And I'd like to... I felt a little... I'm sorry. Yeah, you liked it? Yeah, I felt an affection. I didn't feel comfortable enough to sort of start embracing you, so I didn't want to be... Oh, no, I didn't want to overburden you with affection, but I felt that you were in a position to rest an arm on me. I mean, I didn't let it cross over into the area of being physically aroused or anything. Yeah, none of that. It was about none of that. But you know what it is? We're going out on like a date.
Okay, I was having a little bit of an epiphany before I finished this video. This is the link I wanted to give you. These 2 people are really super intelligent. I just found their channel yesterday, and they understand the money. And they've had a hard time keeping information up, just as I have. And, you know, the alternative platforms are not where you're going to find truth. It's really from people just bouncing around on YouTube trying to figure it out. Because the alternative is just the same as the propaganda machine. And they understand the 2-party lie, they understand the money. And yeah, I just think they're really great, especially for people of color, for them to want to learn more. Because I know sometimes people just want to listen to their kind of people, right? Talk about stuff. That's why I like to include everybody that has a voice in this. And they attacked the people of color so much with all of their social services. And this is why they have a harder time, in my opinion, understanding how it works and how it's actually entrapment. It's not really benefiting them. It just makes it harder for them to move. We're all in prison here, but the more they have their foot on your neck, the less you can move. And one thing's attached to another. You know, like CPS is attached to the indoctrination. If you don't have your kids in school, they tie it all together. So you can't breathe unless you check with daddy government. And the government is here for no other reason than to kill us.